The story begins with a girl named Shannon who used to learn martial arts in Hong Kong. Her father, Danny, used to run a small restaurant during the day and make computer games at night. Unfortunately, Shannon's mother had met with an accident while going to the airport a few years ago. That day, her father had refused to take her mother to the airport. That's why Shannon still considered her father responsible for her mother's death. Now she lives in her school hostel and goes home very little. In the same class, a boy named Ricardo was his life's enemy. Ricardo often troubled him by meeting with his friends. One day, his team was eating at Shannon's father's restaurant. He started complaining for no reason that there's less chili in the food. Even after eating all the food, he refused to pay. Then Shannon took the matter into his hand and asked him to pay. Ricardo threw the money on the ground in anger and left from there. Shannon took the money and gave it to his father, who was standing in the form of a cartoon. The next day in school, Ricardo pushed Shannon's friend's brother to take revenge on Shannon and dropped his food. What kind of way is this to take revenge? To take revenge on a girl, he pushes her uncle's uncle to her friend's brother's uncle. Anyway, Shannon's friends told him to ignore all this, but Shannon was not going to leave him so easily. She went straight to Ricardo's team and started eating from their plate. Ricardo left with his friends in anger. Later, Shannon found out that Ricardo had ruined all his clothes. His gang used to trouble Shannon somehow every day. Sometimes they would drop him, sometimes they would put frogs in his food, and sometimes they would laugh at him for no reason. In that city, there used to be a kung fu competition outside a shop. Shannon found out that Ricardo had never lost to anyone in that tournament. He went in front of everyone and challenged Ricardo for a competition. He bet that if he won, Ricardo would have to wear a skirt and roam around. In return, Ricardo also bet that if he won, Shannon would also cut his hair and wear clothes like a man. After that, the competition started. It was clear from the beginning that Ricardo was a very strong player in return for Shannon. Suddenly, he saw the opportunity and attacked Shannon's stomach, which made him fall hard. After that, she could not get up and was hit by the next blow. Ricardo held her scissors, smiling at her. Shannon also accepted defeat and cut her hair. The next day, when she went to school with short hair, all the kids started making fun of her. When she went to class, Ricardo started calling her a man and teasing her. Still, when she did not stop, Shannon got angry and slapped him. Finally, the teacher came and gave her a hard time. After that, she was taken to the principal, who called Danny and complained about all the actions of her daughter. Poor Danny apologized and asked Shannon to give him a last chance. Then in the afternoon, Shannon went to get her food, and some girls blocked her way. They also started bothering Shannon with Ricardo. She remembered that she was interested in kung fu because of her mother, where other mothers made their daughters princesses. Shannon's mother used to train her in kung fu. That night, Danny called Shannon and asked her to come home because she had not come home for 3 months. Even though she did not want to, Shannon agreed. Then Danny called an investor and asked him to show her his new game. He made a virtual game in which the player had to fight in reality and win. Shannon came home at night and met her father. Danny tried to talk to her, but she was talking in a very bad way. When Danny asked about her hair, she made an excuse, but did not tell him that she was being harassed in school. When her father said that she has changed a lot since her mother passed away, Shannon blamed him. Her words were so bitter that Danny left the room in grief. After a while, Shannon went to her room where she saw a strange necklace on the table. There was also a headset that Shannon wore. At the same time, she reached the virtual world of 500-year-old China. Suddenly, many people started attacking her, but she somehow saved herself. She saw that her hair had grown long. Then she saw Ricardo, who was fighting against the enemies wearing kung fu uniforms. It was found that he was fighting thieves who had come to steal food from the poor farmer's house. Shannon was very surprised to see Ricardo doing a good job for the first time. Then the thief's leader, Norman, came to fight with Ricardo, but Ricardo beat him with his ability. After the goons left, Ricardo returned the food bags to the farmer. Shannon went and asked him how he came to this game. It was found that he is in the opposite form of Ricardo in this game. He told Shannon about the two thieves' leaders, Norman and Tyson. They had made an entire army to steal the food of the poor. Ricardo is sure that Tyson will definitely come to take revenge after hearing the news of Norman's defeat. On the other hand, Tyson was very angry at the thieves' den. He sent his men to keep an eye on Ricardo. Then Shannon went around the village and saw the Shaolin Temple. There she also saw Daryl, who actually bothered her a lot. But here he was a good man. The principal of her school was a martial arts teacher here. There Shannon also met the village chief. Suddenly one day, Ricardo fell ill and fainted. The villagers immediately took him to a doctor who was also a great warrior of martial arts. Later, when Ricardo recovered, Shannon went out to roam around the village with that doctor. She saw an old hut in which a bad man was meditating. The doctor told her that this man is actually her father. He used to roam around the village, catch thieves, and help people. But since his mother's death, he has not left the hut for a year. Then Shannon stayed in the village for a few days and learned martial arts. He and Ricardo used to practice together. Soon, there was a shortage of food in the village due to thefts, so the village chief had to make a law that everyone will eat only twice a day. Soon, they were going to die of hunger. One night, Shannon went to the thieves' house with his team to steal food. Daryl hit a poisonous needle and made the guards unconscious. Then he went to the warehouse and started collecting everything. But then someone made a noise. Ares also went ahead and faced the enemies. Everyone else had to run away from there without Ares, even though they didn't want to. The next day, Shannon asked the village chief to save Ares, but he refused by saying that Ares was stealing, which is against the law. Disappointed, Shannon went to ask Ares' father for help. Shannon told him that he also considered his father responsible for his mother's death. Suddenly, Bayo came out of the hut to save his daughter. He attacked the thieves' den and killed all the guards. Finally, he saved Ares, and the two went out to roam again. Shannon wanted to stop him, but Bayo convinced him that he could face the thieves himself. When Tyson got the news that his men had been attacked, he was ready to enter the village with his army. Shannon, Daryl, and Ricardo knew that this would happen, so they started planning together. Shannon knew that there must be some way to defeat the enemy, because after all, this is a game. Then he remembered the necklace lying on his father's table. He saw a thief wearing such a necklace. In a few hours, Tyson attacked the village with his army. The village chief and the Kung Fu warriors also faced them with full force. Then Shannon saw the thief wearing a necklace, but he was killed fighting him and came out of the game. Shannon did not give up, and again stood up wearing a headset. Actually, he had one more chance left in which the game started from there. This time, he defeated the thief and snatched his necklace. When he opened the necklace, it had a picture of his mother. At that moment, all the thieves of Tyson disappeared. Now only Tyson was left, and they killed him too. After that, Ricardo and Shannon were sitting near the river. Shannon said that she wants to go back to her house. Ricardo promised to always remember her and send her back in reality. When she returned, she found out that Danny and his investor were watching her play. Shannon hugged her father and apologized for her behavior. The investor liked her game so much that he was ready to invest 10 million yuan. Next week was going to be the biggest Kung Fu competition in the country. Shannon and Ricardo also took part in it. They will have to win 4 rounds to reach the final. On the day of the competition, Shannon was very sad because her father had not come yet. Still, she put her life and won the real race. Similarly, Ricardo also won all the rounds and reached the final. In the semi-final, Shannon defeated a boy in a great way. Now only Shannon and Ricardo's competition was left. All the people were waiting for him impatiently. As soon as the competition started, Ricardo made the first attack, but Shannon escaped from him. Similarly, Ricardo also avoided all the attacks of Shannon. In the first round, neither of them got a chance to hit anyone. Then the referee whistled, but Ricardo still attacked Shannon by deceit. Ricardo's points were reduced, but he still did not agree. In the next round, the competition was going on equally. Suddenly, Shannon attacked Ricardo's back and knocked him down. In anger, Ricardo broke the rule again and attacked Shannon's knee. Shannon was in a lot of pain, but still, she stood up for the next round. This time, Ricardo again broke the rule by attacking her head. Shannon was about to faint, but then she saw her father who was encouraging her in the audience. Shannon stood up again with a new zeal. She remembered the technique she learned from the game player Ricardo and used it. In just one attack, Ricardo was defeated, and Shannon won the competition. In the middle of thousands of people's applause, she ran and hugged her father. Finally, when she returned to school, she extended her hand of friendship to Ricardo. Ricardo also accepted that Shannon was the one who deserved to win the last round. If you liked the video, then like it and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.